Every year in the NFL, it's a new team. As far as goals go, we have one. Putting a f***ing ring on our finger.
Welcome to the Buccaneers Observer Podcast. This is Ralph Phillips.
I'm Molly Bay.
Today is April 27th, 2021. I got it right.
Wow.
I know, check it out. This is the, annual podcast?
At this point, yeah, I think so. I'm actually pulling it up now to see when the last time we posted one was. It had to be a month.
Yeah.
Before my birthday. Yeah, it was before my birthday. My birthday was March 16th. That was the last podcast, Ralph. We've had a busy month.
It's been very busy.
It's been crazy.
Yeah.
I almost want football season to come back because then everybody knows to leave me alone.
Yes, I want football season to come back because it's what gives me life.
I know. Telling you.
Well, we've got a lot to talk about here, mainly because we've got a month's worth of stuff built up. We're not going to cover everything, of course. We have been going through our notes, and I spent a good half hour trying to organize my notes, and I was like, let's just wing it. So we're going to miss a lot of stuff, but we're going to try to get to all the important stuff. We're going to
have a quality show for you here today.
We always do. We bring it. All right. What do you got to talk about, Molly? There's a lot going on. We've got the draft coming up Thursday.
I think we should save that for the last 5 minutes because, of course, we don't watch college football, so know absolutely nothing about the draft. So don't even really particularly care about it, but it's football, so here we are. So I say we save that for last and just kind of go through some news. I want to start off on a depressing note. Gino Hayes, who was former linebacker for the Buccaneers, died of liver disease.
Yeah, that was tough, man. He was 33.
33. He was a member of the Buccaneers when I first became a fan.
Mm-hmm.
I think we drafted him in 2008, or he came to us in 2008. So he was kind of on that inaugural team, and it's very sad.
It is sad. You hate to hear it, man. Tough stuff. Rob Gronkowski and Teddy Bruschi were honorary head coaches for the University of Arizona spring game. But before the game, Gronk set a world record by catching the highest altitude football. It was actually kind of cool, but kind of silly at the same time. They had a helicopter. It was 600. Did you see it?
No.
They had a helicopter. It was 600 feet above the stadium, and they dropped a football from the helicopter. Now that it landed in the stadium, it was quite impressive, but it took him 3 tries to catch it. But on the third attempt, they only had 3 footballs, I think. On the third attempt, he caught it. But it set a world record. So there you go. That's Gronk for you.
I know. He's always doing that kind of goofy athletic stuff.
Yeah.
Like the WWE stuff that he did. I mean, he's done all kinds of crap. It
is amazing to me how there's a large segment of the NFL population that just loves WWE. Well, I think it's just the sports world. I think they recognize that how much those guys put into it. The wrestling guys, we all know it's fake, but I've seen a lot of injuries in the wrestling world. I mean, those guys are doing some serious tough stuff. So
and look at their physiques. I mean, they've got to be putting in hours at the gym every day and probably consume 10,000 calories a day.
And I don't know how it is now, but I know back in the day, those guys didn't get paid crap.
Mm-hmm.
They're not getting paid like professional athletes get paid. I mean, I think some of the bigger superstars might have, like the Rock and stuff like that. But they have to do a lot of work. They do a lot of touring. They do shows, back to back. So I think athletes respect that. And plus, it's fun because it's like theater. It's like sports theater. It's a drama.
It's it's like the NFL where they put in years of doing it for free, through high school and college, and just to make a chance at the NFL draft. There's very few that make it to that top tier, get their contract and all that. So
Yeah, because you've got, I mean, there's wrestling leagues all over the country. And, you know, there's guys that do this stuff. There's probably guys that pay money to get to be able to go in the ring and throw each other around. You know, and they practice this stuff in their backyard, off their rooftops. So,
trampolines.
Yeah, it's kind of like the sports world in the sense that there's a huge swath of unpaid interns, basically. That they, I don't even know what is the big wrestling. Is it WWF? WWE? It used to be WWE. Then they had the
right.
So yeah, it just goes to show how out of date I am with everything.
I don't know. I don't remember. It was big for a while when I was like in late elementary school, early middle school.
I grew up watching it. Andre the Giant.
My dad met him in an elevator.
Good Lord. I would not be in an elevator with him.
I know.
Man, talk about Roddy Piper, Hulk Hogan. Those are the ones when I was growing up. But yeah, it was a little bit different. Not quite as big, but I stayed into it until the late 90s. Goldberg and all those guys, you know, Steve Austin. That stuff was fun. It's just fun. You know, it's guys' version of soap operas. That's all it is. The male version of soap operas.
All right. Are we going to talk about wrestling all day? Or are we here for football?
This is now the wrestling podcast.
I don't know. I think also like people are looking for stuff to do in the off season. So WWE or
I don't think there's an off season with
exactly.
wrestling.
That's what I'm saying. The football off season. So you said there's a lot of overlap.
Yeah. That's the only time I get stuff done is when there's no football.
I know. I'm telling you.
I mean, we've been so productive the past few months, ever since the Super Bowl, really.
Well, everything that we wanted to do during the season, we put off until the end of it. So now it's just we're like banging stuff out.
We're back on the horse now, though, so y'all are going to get sick of us.
I know. Hopefully. I'm hoping that they'll have open practices this season and we can go down there. Our daughter found Winter the Dolphin discovered. She is apparently at the according to the Dolphin Tale movie that we watched, which was made in 2011, she was in Clearwater. So I'm like, oh my gosh, we could go see Winter the Dolphin before it dies. And then, because it's super old.
Yeah, how long do dolphins live?
Is it even still living? I don't know if it's still living.
There's apparently another one. I think it's Winter and Sunshine. They're both.
But how long did it come out? Oh, there's another dolphin.
Yeah.
Not a movie. I thought you were saying there was another movie.
With down there in Clearwater, the Clearwater Aquarium, I think is the name of it. So anyhow, she wants to go. Daughter wants to go. So we're like, okay, we'll just do a package deal and kill two birds with one stone.
I know. Well,
but I don't know if they're going to have open practice. You know, the NFL is the players don't want off-season stuff.
Anything. So, well, they don't want. I mean, there's all this voluntary stuff up until I think about July. Yeah, that none of them want to do. And, you know, I'm of two minds about it. On the one hand, it's a little annoying to me because here it is, a year after the pandemic. We are in a better place now than we were. You know, people are getting vaccinated. You know, players with the healthcare that they have, they're probably already vaccinated if they want it, or, you know, next in line. And so to me, it's a little ridiculous that they're making this big hullabaloo now. To me, it just seems like they don't want to do it. And so they're using that as an excuse.
Well, you're seeing that all across the country. People using the pandemic stuff as a leverage point to, you know, get business stuff. And
oh, hell yeah. I don't want to go back to my job. I've been working remote for a year and I'm like, nah, I'm remote now. I don't.
Right. You're just like the players. You know, they're like, we don't really want to come into work.
Okay, listen, let's not go that far.
But the NFL and the Players Association did agree on you know, some more COVID-19 protocols.
Right, like they're keeping people away if they're just choosing, like the staff. They won't let you interact with players if you're not vaccinated. Well, Here's the thing, and this is why it's completely performative. If you have a medical reason or religious exemption, you don't have these restrictions on you. So you can go unvaccinated and still have access to the player. So completely performative.
Yes.
The regulation does nothing to keep, if players are really concerned about their own safety, they wouldn't want to be around those people either.
Right. Yeah. If you're serious about vaccinating people so to, stop spreading a deadly disease or anything, you are not going to give anybody exemptions. Unless it's going to kill them, maybe. But a religious exemption, that doesn't make any sense. If you're gonna tamp down on everybody's freedom, then you have to do the religious aspect too. I don't know.
Right.
It's all beyond me. I'm just here.
I know there's probably some legal reasons they have to do that, but
yeah, all the players have an option to be vaccinated, but the staff doesn't. You can't operate with the NFL if you're not. The coaches and the assistants and all that, they have to get vaccinated in order to interact with anybody.
Why doesn't it work both ways? Why aren't they protecting the staff? They're not protecting the staff from unvaccinated people. They're protecting the players, but not the staff.
Right. Well, it's the whole essential. We've categorized everybody in civilization as essential and non-essential.
Yeah. So I do think it's a little over the top for the players to be kind of making these demands. But on the other hand, now if we had finished the season 7-9, I'd be pissed because the Buccaneers players jumped on this bandwagon as well. I think they were like the third team to say we're not participating in voluntary stuff. So if we had finished the season 7-9, that would have pissed me off. We finished 11-5 and won a Super Bowl, so I just don't give a shit. like they made it work last year in worse circumstances.
Right.
Like completely new, not completely new team. Tom Brady, Gronk, all that stuff. And still managed to win the Super Bowl. So I'm like, y'all do whatever you want. I just don't care.
Not a whole lot you can do to this team to hurt it. That's for sure.
Yeah. And, this is one thing we didn't talk about. We brought back all 22 starters.
We didn't talk about that?
We did not last time because it hadn't happened. We hadn't signed Sue yet. I think there were quite a few others we hadn't signed. I should go to the bottom of my list.
Yeah, well, I'm surprised we didn't talk about that. Well, it hadn't happened yet. God, it's been that long. Yes. Yeah, it's incredible, man. The two things about that. One, Light did a great job. Jason Light. I mean, come on. It's never happened. I think the Steelers back in the 70s was the last time that the Super Bowl team brought back all starters the next year. And guess what happened back then? They went on to win the Super Bowl. So, it's fantastic work by Light and the crew. Greenberg, is that his name? Mike Greenberg?
Yeah.
The cap guy. I mean, they just did amazing stuff. Applaud these guys. Can't nobody talk bad about this. The front office for at least the next 5 years. You can't do it.
I know. They could draft all kickers in this draft, and I'd be like, that's fine. Like, it's cool. You can never have enough kicker. It's a kicker year.
It's a kicker year. And two, it really shows me the state of the league because, as Shaq Barrett said, nobody matched the Bucs' offer.
Really?
Yes, and this is Shaq Barrett we're talking about. I was certain he was gone because I thought teams were just going to just vulture as many players as they could from our team.
I know, because that's normally what happens.
Yeah, right. And this year it didn't happen. I think teams are really.
But was that also a product of the salary cap issues?
No. I mean, Jacksonville could have used him,
yeah.
And they could have paid him $100 million this year and still had plenty of money to sign the rest of their team. It was very strange to me. I feel like, Tampa Bay was under the radar last year. I mean, it was Tom Brady. Everybody talked about Tom Brady. But, the coaching and the way everybody plays on our team was under the radar. Everything was Tom Brady and Gronkowski, the celebrity status stuff. And, even with Tom Brady, they don't talk about what makes Tom Brady great.
Nobody knows. Nobody can put their finger on it. I think.
Yeah. It's a very elusive thing, but I really think it's just a matter of he's perfected the fundamentals. He plays to not make mistakes, and he does everything as perfect as he can. And we have gotten away from that in football. But Patrick Mahomes is a perfect example. The guy doesn't do anything right. He never throws the ball with his feet planted on the ground. He never throws the ball the same way. He's spectacular. He's always doing these highlight plays. And that's what the NFL has turned into. We saw it years ago when they've switched to giving the offense a huge advantage because they won all the scores and the touchdowns and all that good stuff. And also because of fantasy football, teams have gotten into that mindset where they want dynamic players. We don't have dynamic players. I mean, Mike Evans, he's not dynamic. He's just very consistent at catching the ball in traffic. Chris Godwin, he's not dynamic. He's got great hands. Well, he did, except for in the playoffs. But, he's not, getting the ball and, making 50 spin moves or, blazing down the field and leaving everybody behind and all this stuff. None of our play, even Shaq Barrett is not a dynamic player. He's just very fundamental, and he's got a toolkit that you just can't beat. If you beat him, if you contain Shaq Barrett with your technique, eventually he's going to find something that beats your technique. And same thing with Ndamukong Suh. He's not dynamic. He's just a big dude that, he's got, about 15 feet in circumference. That's his.
Yeah.
That's his 15 feet. If you get it 15 feet within him, he's most likely going to tackle you. We just don't, we've got 45, Devin White. He's a little dynamic. We've got, but we don't have the Patrick Mahomeses, who are the dynamic people in the league.
I know.
Run off. I'm bringing all this up, but yeah, it just seems like everybody's dynamic. Half the people on the Kansas City Chiefs are dynamic players. They're these splash plays, and it seems like the league, that's what everybody's looking for, and they just kind of look at the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and they go, there's no really splash players on that team. Gerald McCoy was a splash player. And, we've gotten away from that. We're very much more into fundamental players. And I think the league doesn't like that. Yeah, technicians. Exactly. Exactly. Technicians. And the league doesn't like that. They've moved away from that. They want these dynamic players. So they didn't pick our team apart because to them, a lot of the coaches are, within the past 10, 20 years, and they've got that mindset of, I want the dynamic players. I want the guys that can run down the field fast and catch the crazy balls. I want the quarterback that can scramble out of the pocket and pick up 30 yards. I mean, Belichick re-signed Cam Newton. I'm sorry. The question is over as to who was the reason why New England was as dominant as it was. It's beyond a shadow of a doubt. It was Tom Brady. Shocks the mess out of me. I thought it was, 60-40 Belichick? Now, when because he's a general manager, he makes personnel decisions. And when he got Cam Newton last year, I went, whoa, that's bad. That was a really bad decision. And, I was thought maybe there was something he was trying to do or whatever. But you look at his team, how it played last year, the players, how they performed, all the guys that sat out because of the pandemic and, signing Cam Newton and then re-signs him this year.
After what was their record last year? I don't remember.
They had a losing record.
Yeah.
First one they've had since Tom Brady's been there in 20 years. So, it was Belichick was even looking for a dynamic player to peers, Cam Newton. And, it's just, I think that the NFL has gone that way, and one of the reasons why we are so dominant is because we're very technical, and they're just not wanting that. So that's one of the reasons why we were able to keep everybody, because teams aren't looking for that. So
joke's on them. I mean, defensively, you want to pick our team apart just so we don't whoop your ass again next year.
I think
they should have colluded together.
They should have.
I know.
No, I'm dead serious.
Even the NFC South or something. That's what I would have done.
I mean, if you listen to the podcast back after the Super Bowl and everything, I almost got teared up watching the All-22. And it's silly to say because I was watching what I felt like was the best team I've ever seen on film during the Super Bowl. And I don't think the rest of the league sees it. We are head and shoulders above everyone. I can't think of it. The Rams are the closest team I could say was, they're in a position to maybe give us a tough time. That's it. That's it. There ain't nobody else. And the Rams, I'm not even worried about. So, to me, I feel like the rest of the team is sleeping. The rest of the league is sleeping on us. They're kind of hoping that Tom Brady's going to hit his old man age and not be able to perform well or whatever.
Right, that it was an anomaly.
Yeah, but no, we're going to win it all again this year. No, there's no doubt about it. No doubt about it. No doubt about it.
There's going to be a version 2 of your I Told You So
Think
video.
there ain't? I'm starting it right now.
Got to write it down so you don't have to go back looking for it.
But I talked about Gerald McCoy. He was a very dynamic player. And, a lot of fans liked Gerald McCoy, and he talked about on Sirius Radio a while back. I think it was after the Super Bowl. I think it was about a month ago. He talked about he wouldn't mind coming back to Tampa Bay. Well, of course.
No, negative. No, stop it.
That got all the media in a frenzy. I mean, there was all kinds of articles written, all glowingly, of course, about, how Gerald McCoy would add to the defense. And there was even this guy, Rob Leeds from Pewter Plank. He wrote like 5 articles on this matter. And
I don't get it.
Yeah, he said that Tampa Bay has a chance to right the situation that they screwed up so bad by getting rid of him. Yes. And
get the fuck out of here.
That was one of the problems I had with Gerald McCoy, is that he was a dynamic player. I mean, the guy was great in one aspect. He was very good at getting off the line and beating his offensive lineman in that first second or two. But after that, chances were really good that Gerald McCoy was going to be 5 or 10 yards away from the play every single down, because the offensive lineman would just move him out of the way. And he was very easy to move out of the way. So he was dynamic. He would make these great splash plays. But then throughout the course of the game, he made a lot of not really good plays, where he was getting basically manhandled and moved around. Now, you look at Ndamukong Suh, he doesn't really make splash plays so much as it is he just anchors that damn line. That's his space, and he's always in control. You don't see Ndamukong Suh get pushed out of the way. He's not getting – so, it's great for TV and it's great for fans to have these dynamic players. But when you really think about it, when it comes down to a team, you want guys that are going to do their job, like they said in New England all the time, which apparently that's a Tom Brady thing. It wasn't a Belichick thing.
What?
Well, I mean, Tom Brady's doing his job. Belichick ain't.
Yeah.
So, it's boring. Tom Brady's boring. He's boring to watch. I always hated to watch Tom Brady because I was just like, he's boring.
When he's fun is when he's mad.
Yeah.
You're like, ooh, he's chewing somebody out. I would not want to be on the other end of that.
And it's like the Super Bowl. It was boring to most people. Most people stopped watching. I mean, we were the last ones left at the bar.
The defense helped with that too.
Yes. But it's defense is boring.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry, defense is boring. I love defense. Defense is the reason why I love the Buccaneers, why I fell in love with the Buccaneers. But it's boring, to your average player or your average fan. So anyhow, that's my thought on all that mess. But Gerald McCoy, he's not coming back. It was the first thing that Bruce Arians did when he became coach, was to get rid of Gerald McCoy. And I think that was the reason why. It was just like, I want a more consistent player, leadership, all that good stuff.
It won't stop Rick Stroud from being his water boy.
Yeah, Rick Stroud had an article on it too, which is funny because, Rick Stroud did the famous or the infamous Gerald McCoy is not going anywhere article.
A week before he got cut.
Right. And he, of course, had a glowing expose on Gerald McCoy when all this information came out about Gerald McCoy saying he wouldn't mind coming back to the Buccaneers if they'd have him. But what I find strange about this is, I can't ever remember them doing this about any other player.
Mm-mm.
I mean, look at Adam Humphries. Adam Humphries is out there. You know,
love Adam Humphries. I would bring him back in a second.
I have yet to hear a single reporter talk about the Buccaneers bringing Adam Humphries back. Remember when Vincent Jackson retired and there was like no mention of it anywhere?
Nobody
Me and you were just like, what?
Thing.
Yeah. You know, I remember when Chet Dilfer, he went to Baltimore, won a Super Bowl there. They got rid of him. I didn't hear a single reporter talk about we should get Chet Dilfer back. Now, they like Gerald McCoy because he's a media guy. He gives them complete access. He talks to them all the time. He's giving them inside information. So they're biased. They want him back on the team so they can get that easy inside information.
Yeah.
So.
Definitely. All right, let's talk about some current Buccaneers. You ready?
Yes.
Oh, Giovanni Bernard. We never talked about this.
Oh, that's
right. No, we brought him in.
Yeah.
He's on a veteran minimum deal. It's a $1.075 million base salary and then $137,000 signing bonus. He only counts $987,000 against the cap.
Not bad. Not
yeah.
bad. I liked him at Cincinnati. I thought he was I would always get him in fantasy football.
Oh, yeah, you did.
Know. Yeah, it's very strange. He's just very consistent, you know, when he plays.
So he is more of a pass catching back, right?
That's funny.
That's what everybody said,
right? He's consistent. He's a consistent fantasy football producer. And that's what this team is all about, you know, consistency. That's funny. Yeah, they say he's a good pass catcher.
But that's kind of Leonard Fournette's thing too, right?
Yeah.
I mean, that's the role that he had last year.
Mm-hmm.
So we've got Giovanni Bernard, Leonard Fournette, and Rojo.
Mm-hmm.
So we got a pretty stacked running back room.
Yeah, and we've still got, what's his face, the rookie last year. Keyshawn. Vaughn. Mm-hmm.
I always want to say Johnson. I'm like, that's not it. So Giovanni was kind of a surprise. I mean, I expected them to try to upgrade the running back room, but I thought it might be through the draft. Mm-hmm. And there's still nothing that says that they're not going to do that.
Right.
I mean, not that we need anything.
Yeah.
I think their draft strategy this year is just best available.
That's what Like said.
Which I'm cool with, too. I mean, we
don't have
stacked
any needs.
everywhere. Where's the need? Like offensive line. You can never have enough offensive linemen.
True.
Let's just do, like, you know, Carolina last year did all defense. Let's just do all offensive line.
Just pick up a bunch of beasts.
Or special teams. Let's do special teams.
Well, who is it? Kansas City. Yeah, they're beefing up their offensive line.
Oh, they needed to because they cut their 2 left tackles. They didn't have any money.
Yeah.
So they traded 2 left tackles. They're 2 tackles.
Was it Orlando Brown they traded with the Ravens for?
Yeah.
Recently. Yeah, they're beefing up their offensive line.
They shored it up, huh?
Just funny. It ain't going to help. Not against us.
Well, not against a running quarterback. Like, it's futile.
Yeah.
Why bother?
Right.
I mean, I get having someone average, but I mean,
yeah, you're going to get these elite offensive linemen who can
give
block
up 40
a spot.
fucking sacks, like with Jameis.
And still give up 40 sacks.
Yeah,
right.
I mean, can't do it.
Speaking of the football players loving the wrestling world, it seems like they're starting to migrate to the UFC too. There was a picture out.
Yeah.
Somebody had posted a picture that said Buccaneers quarterback Blaine Gabbert's in the building! ! And he brought 2 teammates. How nice. And it was Blaine Gabbert, Mike Evans, and Tom Brady.
Yeah.
I just found it so funny how they were like, Blaine Gabbert's in the house.
Well, what they did though is they cropped that picture. They did not show the whole posse. The picture showed Blaine Gabbert, Mike Evans, and Tom Brady, but on the other side of Tom Brady was Alex. I want to say Alex, his trainer.
Oh, Guerrero,
which they do not like his. I don't know. The media does not like this guy. And I want to say another player. I want to say like Ryan Griffin was there too. So it was not just those 3. There were more people there. They cut him out though. I can't remember who else it was in the picture. Antonio Brown was also at that match. He was with Jake Paul, I think. I'm pretty sure it was
That's
Jake
weird.
Paul. He was sitting with, he was all dressed to the nines. Like, he had a blazer. Antonio Brown had like 5 gold chains. He was looking spiffy. He put on his best. Did you hear that Antonio Brown's lawsuit settled? Really? Yeah. So we wondered if that might be something that was delaying the Bucs re-signing him.
What is up with the Deshaun Watson stuff? I find it very strange that I don't even know what to think about all that stuff. It's very, but are things shifting or something? Because it seems like previously, or maybe it's because he's considered a superstar. It seems like previously, if you would have had that many women coming forward accusing you of something, they would have just ejected you. I mean, you'd be cut from the team. It's like, get that settled first, and then maybe some other team will pick you up. But
well, I think the Texans are between a rock and a hard place. Like, Deshaun wanted to be traded earlier in the season, and the team took a hard line where they were like, no. Like you're saying, he was like, he let it be known, I do not want to play for the Texans anymore. The front office of the Texans were basically like, tough shit, you're under contract, we're not letting you go. And then all this stuff came out, and it's like they're stuck with him. He has no trade value at this point. They could get nothing for him. Nobody wants to touch that. Yeah. And Deshaun kind of screwed himself. I mean, lucky for him at this point that the Texans are still being very stubborn. I guess if they cut him, they'd I don't know if they'd still owe him money or whatever, but I don't know. That whole thing is just very strange. To me, it just seems like a money grab by the ladies, if I'm being honest. I don't know. But it does seem weird that it's like he did have so many massage therapists. You're like...
It's like 40-some female massage therapists have come forward, but 20 of them are like pro him and 20 of them are like anti.
Yeah. It's like, well, you're like, you're not helping.
Yeah, you brought it up. I didn't even think about it. You're like, why would he need so many female massage therapists? I was like, oh.
I don't even know what he's accused. Like, yeah, right. No kidding. I don't know. I don't even know what he's really accused of doing.
Being a dude with a high libido, apparently. that's a bad thing. But so, it just seems strange to me that, it seems like 3 years ago, if that would have happened, they would have just fired him immediately. Wasn't that going on for a long time during the whole Me Too stuff? It was like, if you got accused, boom, you're gone.
Yeah, you were gone. They didn't care if you were. So I don't know. It's a weird thing with him. I wouldn't be surprised if they eventually cut him, but I think that they've just the team has screwed themselves at this point. They're kind of stuck with him.
Were you going into another subject here? Or?
I was going to say that we picked up Vita Vea's 5th-year option.
Oh, we did.
So we have him through 2022.
Nice.
I know.
Keep him forever.
I know.
I don't ever want him to leave.
I know.
It's so much fun to watch.
Oh, I do have something else. Okay. We've had a slew, and when I say this, you're going to laugh. We've had a slew of Bucs babies coming down the pipe this off season. First of all,
that's what happens when you're stuck inside in a pandemic.
Yeah, I
make babies.
Yeah. Devin White's horse had a baby. Dream had her baby. This was like almost a month ago. So I'm gonna start the birth announcements like that with Dream. Then Sue, 2 days after he agreed to terms with the Bucs, he had his twins.
Congratulations.
Congratulations. And then Shaq Barrett had his daughter, was born on the 19th of April. And then Ryan Suckup had a son. So fantastic. It's a good time. It's great timing. Like if you can time the birth during the off season, it's great.
Yes. So when would you have had to copulate in order to have
in April? Hold on a second.
A baby in April.
Probably June.
Okay.
July,
so before the season starts.
July.
There you go. Yeah. Guys, do it before the season starts. Baby comes out after the season. Bam. Works.
August. I was thinking about...
That's right before the season starts.
Yeah. That's time to do it. That's how you do it.
Yeah.
So now we know. Okay. So the NFL schedule will be coming out after the draft.
Start doing the countdown. Yep.
I know. So that's how they did it last year, too.
The NFL owners approved a new set of rules last Wednesday, I think it was. Yeah. Again, I think they tinker too much. They say they're going to expand the influence of replay officials amid ongoing demands from coaches for more oversight of game day officials. So what they've done, everybody wanted the sky judge. They wanted an official up in the box that basically is in charge
overrules
of everything.
everything.
Yes. They got that in New York now. They want one in the stadium, in the box, in every game. That was poo-pooed. That's not going to happen. But what they're doing is they're giving existing replay officials who sit in the press box in each stadium the authority to consult with referees on certain specific objective aspects of a play. Whereas before, now if it's clear and obvious, the video evidence is presented, they can stop the game and say, hey, we're going to, they call the referees and basically be a part of the referee thing. Whereas before it was the referees would go, hey, we need a booth review on this. Now the booth can go, hey, we're reviewing this. Let's get together. So basically they're like a head referee now.
So who's going to be their boss? Like how do you go over?
The replay officials are not going to be able to throw flags or reverse calls on their own, and they're still going to depend on the head referee. But they can call for review of a play themselves. And they can advise based on what they've seen on broadcast replays. So that's interesting, because referees have never been able to look at the broadcast replays. And so these booth guys can. It's going to cover completed and intercepted passes, location of the ball relative to the boundary or end line, whether a player is down by contact. Previously, the replay officials had been limited to participating in plays that were under review. So, basically when they were called in. And coaches will now not have to throw challenge flags to prompt this. Some replay officials have been giving referees informally for years. They've been doing this, but now it's official. They don't have to wait for a coach to throw a red flag. They don't have to wait for the head referee to call them in for, advice. They can step in now.
My only concern with this is the interruption to the game and the flow of the game. I think as long as they're not doing excessively, it might be okay. But it's like when you start nitpicking every little thing where it can become an issue.
Yeah. Let me see. They changed some other rules. There's the whole number rules has been changed, which I think is totally retarded.
Oh, yeah. And Tom Brady was pissed about this. And somebody was had tweeted and they were like, oh, well, they do it in college all the time. And I'm like, yeah, well, Tom Brady hasn't been in college for 20 fucking years. So there's a reason that he's pissed.
Yeah. Now, running backs, wide receivers, tight ends, defensive backs, and linebackers can all wear numbers in the single digits now.
Leonard Fournette is very happy about this. I think he wants number 7.
Yeah. Somebody's already done it, and I can't remember who it was.
On our team?
Nah, I don't think it was on our team. Based on pre-existing NFL rules, players who want to change their numbers this season will have to buy out the inventory of the NFL's manufacturing partners, which that's going to be quite expensive. Oh, interesting.
So if they already have all the jerseys that are printed in their old number, they got to buy all those?
They got to buy them all. Yep.
I hope that they do. Do they actually get the jerseys though themselves, or do the manufacturers keep them?
They probably wouldn't want the jerseys.
Why not? You could just hand them out to anybody. That's what I would do.
Yeah. But this only applies for this year. If they say this year that they want to change their number for next year, that doesn't apply. So that's just for this year. So, all the jersey printing companies can kind of catch up with what's going on. The NFL Rule Committee has approved a 1-year experiment in an attempt to make it easier to recover onside kicks. Here we go. We're messing with onside kicks again.
Stop it.
Yeah.
All specialty, like the kickoffs and the onside kicks. They keep messing with this stuff. Like,
Yeah.
leave it alone. Leave special teams alone. It sucks since you've changed it. Stop it.
They've really gotten silly with just tweaking all these rules. Now, what they're doing is they're saying that the team receiving the ball can only have 9 players within 25 yards of the ball. Last season, I think they were able to have 10.
So it's like just the kicker.
Or something. It's just, I don't know. But last year there was only 3 out of 67 onside kick attempts were recovered by the kicker.
Wasn't that Atlanta
Kicking team. Yeah. All of them.
in that one game, right?
I think I had 2, right?
I think so.
Yeah. So there's that. Let me see. We tabled a rule that would have expanded the area where players are prohibited from blocking below the waist. They've eliminated overtime in preseason.
Are we even going to have a preseason?
Yeah. I don't know.
Probably not. If it's up to the players, no.
Now they've changed a rule that will now force a loss of down if 2 passes are completed behind the line of scrimmage. Man, that's an arbitrary and obscure.
Yeah, that's really stupid.
Yes. They've approved a rule change that ensures the enforcement of all accepted penalties during successive try attempts, defined as an opportunity for a team to score 1 or 2 additional points during one scrimmage down. This is due to when they were doing these crazy downs, trying to run out the clock and stuff. So, and calling the penalties, making penalties, and not accepting it, all that good stuff.
Okay, wait a minute. Can we go back to the rule before this one?
Yes.
All right. Read it to me again.
Changed a rule that will now force a loss of down if 2 passes are completed behind the line of scrimmage.
Okay. So like 2 successive downs?
No.
In the
like
same
they're
play?
In the same play, yeah. If you throw a
So like are flea
pass.
flickers out? Does that kill the flea flicker?
I don't know. Don't know. Or the end around.
What the fuck are you doing, Jeff Fisher? Is he still heading the rules committee? Because he's like,
I don't think so. I think you probably have to be involved in the NFL to be on the rules
No,
committee.
he was on the rules committee.
Was he? Last year?
After he, who was he with last? The Rams?
No, he wasn't with anybody. Oh, it was.
Who was the last team that he coached for? I think the Rams.
Was it the Rams? Yeah. That was
And after, I know.
After
He was on the rules committee after that.
Okay, moving on. They did not act on a spot or choose proposal from the Ravens for the winner of the overtime coin toss. In that scenario, the team would have the option to choose either which team will have the first possession of overtime or where the ball would be spotted. There's a taunting among its points of emphasis for 2021. Thank
Don't be mean
Carlton,
to people.
Thanks, Carlton Davis.
Stop
for
being
that
so mean, guys. We want to make sure we keep everybody's self-esteem at a base level.
Everybody gets a Super Bowl trophy.
What are they doing with the taunting? I heard everyone kind of pissed off about it. Is this because of Antoine Winfield Jr.?
Oh, was that who did it? I thought it was Carlton Davis.
No.
You sure?
Are you even a fan of this team?
I was Winfield? Okay. No,
that did the peace sign?
Yeah, it was because of that. Yeah.
He's in the league 1 year and he's getting
Already
rules written
rules.
for him.
Yeah. Let me see. So they're just going to emphasize throwing flags more.
It's just interesting that Tyreek Hill, they didn't make a big deal about him doing that in week 12, being a dick.
Yeah.
But Antoine does it in the Super Bowl, and it's we're clutching pearls over here.
Yep. Let me see. They completed a study of the sharp drop in offensive line holding calls during last year. Which, after week 1, I was like, what is going on? The Saints just held the whole game.
Yeah.
And they weren't called. And sure enough, all season long, it was an issue. The refs just weren't calling holding. They called it, their thing was, if it was blatant, if you could blatantly see it, then they would call it.
Most are pretty blatant. I mean,
Right, yeah, they even missed those, but they just didn't want to call holding last year.
Yeah.
So McKay said that Walt Anderson, the NFL Senior Vice President of Training and Development, would clarify the standard and put together a video for teams to consume before the 2021 season, which is what they did last year. And they said last year, their conclusion was, we're just not going to call holding unless it's extremely blatant.
Well, fuck it. Let's just hold every play then.
I know.
See what they call.
Yeah. Do it. I'm fine with it. If you're going to cheat, I'm going to cheat better.
I know. I mean...
we did re-sign Ryan Griffin.
Oh, yeah, I saw that. Okay, I have that in my notes. He'll be the first quarterback, if he makes the roster, he'll be the first quarterback in Tampa Bay history to do so for 7 straight seasons.
That's funny.
So Testaverde and Dilfer were here for 6.
Oh,
that's Greg Auman. Thanks, Greg.
And he's got a handful of passes. That's crazy.
Yeah, but he's like the best wingman on the team for Tom Brady.
Hey, man, right now, I don't know what the magic sauce is, but don't add any more ingredients and don't take anything away.
It's avocado tequila.
The TB12 method. Mm-hmm. John Gruden, his career as a head coach. With the Buccaneers, he for 7 seasons, his record was 57-55. Right now, he's been with the Raiders 7 seasons, and his record is 57-55.
That's insane.
That is insane.
The part about that blew my mind was that he's been with the Raiders for 7 years. Now, that does include the 2 stints. Yes, because I was really confused about that. I was like, he hadn't been back in the league for, I know, God, time flies. No, that's for the 2 stints with the Raiders. But so, I mean, he's perfectly average over 14 years as a head coach.
Yes. Yep.
So there we go.
There you go. Let me see. The Carolina Panthers have signed quarterback, what's his name?
Oh, Sam Darnold.
Sam Darnold. Now, this happened a while back, and I sat down and watched a bunch of Sam Darnold Jets games because I want to see how this guy's plays. I watched the coach's film, and it basically proves it coincides with what I was saying earlier about it seems like teams just want these dynamic players because that's what he is. I watched a game where he played at the Rams because that was a good tell because I'm kind of familiar with the Rams. We've played them enough, and I've watched enough of their all-22.
And they've been pretty consistent.
Yeah, they've been
over the last few years.
The guy doesn't keep good form. He just throws from crazy footing and bad shoulder placement and just.
So he's Cam Newton light. That's what you're saying.
Basically, yeah. He throws these short passes. He's not a big, strong arm guy. Can't throw it down the field, kind of like Cam Newton. He's not good at play action fakes. He doesn't sell. Doesn't even try to sell. They had a lot of them called with the Jets, and every game I watched, it just he just seems like he never really put a lot of effort into it. And I see that a lot with quarterbacks. There's only been a handful of quarterbacks I could say that really are good at selling a play action fake. RG3 was probably the best I've ever seen at him, and that guy was just amazing at it. Cam Newton was actually pretty good about it too. But it just looked like he was going through the motions when it comes to play action fakes. He's got a huge tell when he's in shotgun. His right foot slightly readjusts every single time. Every single, it was like clockwork. I'd see his foot adjust, knew the ball was getting ready to snap. And it was like directly before the snap. It's like adjust, snap, adjust, snap. So our guys are going to pick up on that and just eat him alive.
Oh, hey, remember when they got Matt Rule 2 years or a year ago, and we said in the draft, we got to look and see if he ends up drafting Baylor's quarterback.
Yeah, that's right.
So that'll be something to look at. Mm-hmm. I don't even know kid, if he's still there, if he's even draft material.
We need to write that down.
Okay, listen, we have about 20 minutes till we got to go to the bus stop.
Can I whip through this real quick
Yes,
with
sir.
Sam Darnold?
And then, we'll touch on the draft just briefly. Okay. I have a quick summary
we'll
of the
save the rest
division.
of our notes for other podcasts.
In a month.
Let's see. Another tell is when he's under center, he wipes his left hand on his thigh. He doesn't do this always, though. Right? But he wipes it, puts his hand under center, and snaps the ball. But he is fast and energetic. He's very dynamic. You know, just like Cam Newton and all these guys that, you know, you think, oh, you know, they're awesome. But Patrick Mahomes, you know, just got all this energy and they're very fast. Mm-hmm. Darnold's bigger than Mahomes, though. So,
well, Mahomes is a tiny little guy.
Little guy. Let me see. I had a couple notes here in the Rams game. Let's see. In the third quarter, 14-24, he scrambled a bootleg to the left, had a receiver wide open downfield that he did not see. You know, he's got that mindset of where he wants to make the play. Yes. He ended up getting sacked and fumbled the ball out of bounds. That was a very awkward change of direction attempt that he made. It looked kind of very clumsy. So he doesn't change direction very well. Also in the same game, third quarter on 1st and 10, his first somewhat deep pass. The receiver was wide open, and he had to twist around to catch it. The guy's not an accurate thrower. There was no pressure on him during the throw. And then later on, he had another deep pass that wasn't very accurate. The guy does not hesitate to scramble if he feels any pressure, whether it be phantom pressure or real. He's going to scramble. 3rd and 6, with 2:17 left in the fourth quarter, they were up by 3. Darnold missed seeing a completely uncovered and wide open tight end for what would have definitely been a touchdown. He ended up getting a check down pass to his running back for 6 yards under pressure, but he never even looked over the tight end. Nobody covered the tight end. Tight end was wide open on the other side of the field. Would have been a touchdown. He's just your typical quarterback. Your nowadays quarterback. He's dynamic. He's fun to watch, but he's inaccurate, doesn't have the fundamentals down, and it just seems like it just doesn't matter anymore. It's really just about, you know, if you could scramble good, if you can, you know, make crazy throws, you know, that's what matters. So we're not going to have a problem with this Sam Darnold guy at all.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So no threats at quarterback in the NFC South.
The Carolina Panthers are not going to be an issue for us this year.
I would argue the entire NFC South will not be an issue.
I would argue the entire NFL is not going to be an issue for us this year.
I would argue that the entire universe is not going to be an issue for us. You want over?
I can't beat that, can I? Infinity plus 1. Well, the Titans hired ex-Eagles defensive coordinator Jim Schwartz.
Your boy.
As senior defensive assistant.
Ralph
He just keeps stepping
Jim
down
Schwartz.
every time.
He's
a good coach.
He's probably sick of the nonsense. All right. Let's touch briefly on the draft and then wrap this baby up.
Yeah.
Okay. Bucs draft. Number 32.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone start drinking your coffee at about 4 o'clock on Thursday, so you can
we're not
stay
going to
up.
pick until 11 midnight.
Or take a little nap through the rest of it.
But you know, this is the price we pay for being so awesome. I am very happy to not be picking early in the draft. I'm not going to lie to you.
Yeah.
And it's nice to not be concerned with, you know, making sure we get a safety or a defensive lineman or whatever.
To be fair, I don't really care about the draft any other year, but I really don't care about it this year because we have little need. Yeah. Very little. Very little. Like special teams, maybe. Yeah, but I think that's more of a matter of coaching than it is anything else. And you definitely do not want to draft for special teams. That's ridiculous.
Didn't we lose Ryan Smith?
Yeah. He went to... Oh, God, where did he go? I want to say like the Lions or the Tennessee something. Might have been. I can't remember. Yeah. So, what do you think we draft? I think, you know, best available, but in your best case scenario, where would you like to focus?
I don't care. Don't care. There's, you know, we're stacked everywhere. We've got good backups everywhere. There's nowhere where I can. And I think this year in the draft is going to be very strange and very hard for both fans and coaches because, football was messed up last year in both the collegiate and the NFL level, but especially the collegiate level. A lot of teams didn't play a lot of players didn't play. So you don't have that film. You don't know if these guys are in shape.
We don't have the combine.
Yeah. So, it's really going to be a crapshoot this year more than it has ever been. We picked the perfect time to draft a low. I personally, we're set for next year. We don't need anybody. Maybe even 2 years. Next 2 years, we might be set. I would be totally fine with trading down and just gathering as many draft picks as we can for the future drafts.
Oh, interesting.
This year is just, I think, is going to be a waste for the draft. I think that a lot of teams are going to be shooting in the dark because, just the players didn't play that much last year. So, you don't have the film. You don't have the current, you can't meet with these guys. So, you don't know if they're in, mental shape for the stuff or a physical shape. All good. It's just, I don't know.
I like that strategy, actually.
I think it would
trade
be the smart
everything
thing to do.
away.
Yeah, just
all
trade.
Of them.
Just trade as
Stack
much as we
them up.
can.
Yeah.
For next year, man.
That's a really good point.
Yeah.
If we're drafting at 32, I am taking best case scenario.
Best player available, man. All day
yes,
long.
but
and Jason Light said that. He said that's what they're doing.
Okay, but that's not what I was going to say.
Okay.
What I was going to say is a lineman, either side, offensive line, defensive line. That's my top want. It's a wish list.
Always, yeah. You can't ever go wrong with drafting those guys. No. If there is an offensive lineman, I was watching some game film of him. College game film, and I can't remember who he was or who he played with. I'd have to look it up real quick.
Completely useless information.
This is completely useless information here, but that guy I was like, oh, I'd love to get him. He was just a beast. He was the guy, he was just, he played through the whistle, and he was pancaking guys left and right, and just, that's the kind of stuff I like with offensive line. He's tough. He was just mean.
Starting any fights. Imagine what Ryan Jensen could do with him.
I know, right?
So much potential there. All right, since we don't give a crap about what's happening with the Bucs draft.
Oh, can't say we don't give a
crap. Yes, you're right.
We're just not, that's just not our wheelhouse.
We're not even concerned about it either because we're so set.
I know.
Doesn't even matter. Okay, for Carolina, Atlanta, and the Saints, it does matter.
Very much.
Okay, I'm going to briefly, because I spent about 10 minutes on this, and that was it. So I'm not an expert. This is just what the Google search results told me. Okay, Atlanta is picking up.
Still use Google? God, that's so 2000.
DuckDuckGo, but I just use it as a verb. Atlanta has the number 4 pick. They have 9 total picks. They get 2 compensatory picks in the 5th round and then another one in the 6th round. So they have 9 picks.
Who? Atlanta?
Yeah.
Did you see how teams are trying to get? They're looking at shopping Julio Jones.
I did see that. Bye-bye. Although, and you disagreed with me on this. We're gonna have to fact check this. Julio's been hurt for 3 years.
Yeah, I don't remember him being hurt that much. But.
Yeah, but in the last few years, he has definitely, for sure. I will even do this fact check for myself.
I'm gonna do it right now while you're over there gabbing.
But of course, and were they shopping the 4th pick too? Or was that San Francisco? I think that's the 3rd. I can't remember. Anyway. Atlanta has a new head coach and GM. So, and they have little cap space for free agency. So the draft might be the way that they build their team. In a lot of the mock drafts, they're getting tight end Kyle Pitts, which I don't know anything about Kyle. I'm sure he's a great tight end.
Who? Us?
No, Atlanta.
Oh, okay.
Focus.
Yeah. No, I've got the stats up on Julio Jones. So.
Oh, okay. And so most mock drafts have them picking a tight end. And I'm sure that he's great. I mean, I'm sure he's a good player. But at number 4, do you take a tight end at number 4? Just seems high to me.
Yeah, unless he's super good.
I know.
Yeah.
Especially when you're stacked at receiver like they are. Like, do you really need a...
Yeah, well, they got the new
tight end
coaches and stuff, so maybe, they're tight end coaches. Who knows?
Yeah. Well, no, he
focus
was
on-
the offensive coordinator at the Titans. So his thing was Derrick Henry, that big bruising back. So I don't know. Do they take a quarterback with Matt Ryan? That remains to be seen. They got to pay Matt Ryan a boatload next season, $43 million. I think they're up to. They also need offensive line and defense. So
They need everything.
Carolina is the same way. They got the number 8 pick. They could possibly, this is from the draft people, target a quarterback, even though they traded for Sam Darnold. And they still have Teddy Bridgewater. But they also need offensive line, linebacker, cornerback, and wide receiver.
And defensive line, too.
Probably defensive line. But they spent all 7 of their draft picks last year on their defense. So, I don't know. And then Saints, they pick number 28. So right before us, they are in desperate need of a cornerback and wide receiver. Sean Payton has said he doesn't see them drafting a quarterback.
Yeah, they've got 3. No, 2. Huh? Forgot Drew Brees ain't there no more. Ha ha.
So it's Jameis or Taysom Hill. It's going to be a quarterback competition.
So much. It's so funny because they're just like with the Patriots. There are a huge part of the Saints fan base that has never known the Saints without Drew Brees as quarterback. They getting ready to get an eye opener. Woo, doggy. That's fun. Just like all the Patriots fans. They're all just like, what's going on?
We got hoodwinked.
Is this what real football fans have to go through, this mess? Is losing?
Right. There are adult Patriot fans who have never known Tom Brady not being there. 20 years. That's an adult
time.
It is.
Yeah. Yeah, good Lord. I couldn't even imagine. They're going to go through some trauma. This is going to be a long, long decade for them.
Especially if they start Jameis.
Or you mean Cam?
Oh, no. I was talking about the Saints. Yeah.
Yeah.
If they start Jameis. But I don't know that Taysom Hill is much better. Jameis is certainly more entertaining.
I don't know. That Taysom Hill's pretty entertaining. But Jameis will chunk it down the field.
Put some Benny Hill music on in the background. It's fun.
You're so cruel. Julio Jones missed 7 games last year.
What about the year before?
1.
Okay, that's
year before that, 0.
That counts.
That counts 1 game?
Yes, absolutely.
So let me see. He's missed 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 games in 7 years. That's not bad.
Injury prone.
He had
last few years. Missed 7 games last year? Come on, man.
No. Yeah, he missed 7 games last year, but then 1 game the year before that, no games the year before that, no games the year before that, and 2 games in 2016. So come on.
Okay.
He's not injury prone.
As of late, he is.
Last year he was, apparently.
Yeah. Just saying, and he's old now. So, what is he, like 34? That's like ancient in football years.
It is. Let me see. He's 32.
Okay. Close enough.
He's your age. 32 in 78 days, actually. That is old in football years.
Put him out of pasture.
Yep. Time to put him down.
The Bucs might do it.
All right. We're going to wrap this up.
We are.
God, there's so much stuff I wanted to talk about, but yeah, we don't want to.
Maybe we'll get one out next week after the draft.
Yeah, maybe we'll do one Friday. Something. We'll figure it out. We're not on a schedule yet, so.
We're still catching up on all the things we ignored in the offseason.
Yep.
So.
All right, guys. Keep your head up. Keep wearing your gear, man. I see a lot of Buccaneer fans out wearing their gear still. I love it.
Ralph does. That's all he owns.
That's all I
own.
own.
All our jackets back there. Those are all Buccaneers. There's a hat.
So I get a lot of. I'll be walking somewhere and I'll just hear out of some corner of my hearing, go Bucs, Buccaneers.
Yeah.
So I'm just turning around going, yeah, trying to figure out who it was that said it. Yeah, so, be proud, be happy. And we're going to do it again this year. So that's going to be 3 Super Bowls we're going to have. Look, I'm definitely counting my chickens before they hatch.
I know.
3 Super Bowls in 3 attempts. And the best part about all this is being able to brag to our division rivals all the time. No matter what we do from here on out, no matter what we do, we have more Super Bowls than all of them combined.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I know. New Orleans hasn't won a Super Bowl since like 2010.
Yeah.
11 years. Like, get out of here. Enjoy your division titles.
Yeah, right.
I hope they keep you warm at night.
Yeah, they have actually lost. Our division has lost more Super Bowls than we've won combined. Yeah, than all of us. We're the only ones that have a positive record in the Super Bowl, I think.
Undefeated, baby.
Yeah, no shit. So anyhow, yep, there we go. All right, guys, we're going to wrap it up. Till next time.
Go Bucs.
See if I can remember how to turn this thing off. When we started this today, I was like, man, I forgot how to operate all this mess. All right, you said go Bucs, right?
I did.
Okay, go Bucs.